A desolate island. Less river. More, well, actually, no, it's about the same amount of river, really. But instead of calcifying rivers, we mineralize coast water. It says ocean water, but you can't do it here. You have to do it closer to shore. Also, sandbank. Same restriction, but small island for if you want to put a toxin scrub or something. I probably won't have to use either. Yes, yes, funds are a little low and... Uh-huh. Why is there grass there? That confuses me. But also it's not grass, somehow? I, I guess too many questions aren't good for me, so let's not get involved in whatever money laundering scheme is happening. You might ask why, when we are clearly not using money as like a hard requirement, is there a Ponzi scheme? I answer, have you met people? You really need to go down and talk to them. If that's how you think. Okay. Let's see. Now this one is a little bit more tricky with these. Um, because there's also temperature. So for example, moss on rock faces will not appear if I raise temperature before doing water. But the rain and thunderstorms does need temperature and maxed water. So there's something to keep in mind. However, a side effect of all this water is that it should be easier to do this. And also, there's no reason not to get a whole bunch of water aside from cost, really. So, we'll get that out of the way. Next up, temperature. How do you do temperature? You blow it up. And I'll just use another machine to bring it back. You might notice it's actually nutrients. So yes, if we use normal forests, these would be incredibly helpful. But this is a tropical island. We don't do normal forests. That would be missing the point. Alright, so we've got some birds. We've got some moss. And then, well, there will be jellyfish once we've got some room for them to appear. They don't really have a good environment. Crabs on beaches, we don't really have proper beaches. And then coconut palms, well, we don't quite have a proper spot for them. Okay, now it looks like I will have to use this. Oh well. And then, because I've got that, ferns on riverbank. There you go. Milestone reached. And also, that's a lot of water. Combined with some nutrients I can burn. So there we go. You can sort of see the theming and idea for this map. Next step, check out the biomes. Mangrove, beach, coral reef, tropical forest. Now how do we do tropical forest? Well, naturally, give us some shade. But you know what else? These are really good for burning. If I had left room for combustors, they would give a lot of temperature. Like, a lot of temperature. Hey, look. Can't interact with them, but the birds chilling. And then a side effect of coconut palms being a thing is there should be some coconut palms mixed in with these, I think. Water lilies over here, next to the ferns. Okay. Next is we will capture sand to form beaches. Every good island map has beaches. So I'll just create a southern strip of beach. Now it won't be perfect, but we can just say, oh yeah, coconut palms are on the beaches, actually, that makes sense. Also crabs. Next we will create a band of wetlands along the west. Now you might notice, oh, but that's wetlands. How do you get mangroves? Well, the bit touching the water is mangroves, but that's not enough. The wetlands shall be forcibly salted. Next step, coral. You might wonder, how do we build in the water? Oh, hi, turtles. Short answer, we don't. Building in the water is not going to happen. That's just never a thing that we are going to do. So instead, far more practical, just boom, there we go. Let me just get this first. Only practical way of filling in all of these, because I am not spamming sandbanks. Also need a small amount of temperature, so, hey beach. Thank you for your generous contribution. Here's all those objectives. Next up, thunderstorm. Thunderstorm. Hey thunderstorm, where are you? Okay, I will then introduce the next mechanic if that is not going to do anything. So there's a lot of surplus rocks from all of my placement of these. What are we going to do? Monorail. It's got a pretty decent range. Not infinite, so we'll have to help it out here and there. But it gives you something to do while waiting for the thunder to finally arrive. And you want to have a lot of coverage of monorail. Am I spending a bit too much money on this? Maybe. But hey, the thunderstorm arrived and it gave me the infinite money. Oh yeah, there's a river in here. It's hard to tell if I did fill it in, but I filled it in. Okay, so Coral Labs. Place one down there. Then activate monorail, spend a bit of money, and then you toss it into the water. Just throw it in. You can do this to any building, and it basically forces it to activate its effects like you place it down just the one time, the initial time, you know? But by the time you unlock it, you're already tier 2. What's the need, you know? So, activate this. Okay, go put it into the monorail, and then we'll just throw it into there. And there you go. The initial ability has a limited range depending on what you select, but the range, well, it just gets carted off. And then tossed it in. Oh, jellyfish. There it is. And yes, oh. Shark, I think. Manta ray. Okay. Yeah, we're getting some cool stuff in. Now, yes, the Coral Lab does not survive the high impact, which means we do not have to worry about the logistics of attempting to salvage from the bottom of the ocean. Highly convenient. Alright, next step. Use the monorail to recycle. This does have to be placed down like normal, so make sure you've got some spots set aside, and then place down the monorail connector. Place that down. And here's the recycle beacon, and here's a rock thrower, because yeah, inland you can't really calcify rivers, so you need some way to set up a beacon, because I am not reaching this. This is not happening. And there's a reason these give so many rocks. They're meant to start to throw them. Activate the recycling on some of these outlying, non-essential to the path monorails, because it also recycles the monorail itself. You might ask, where does it go? Answer. This is the future or something. Just teleport like a normal person. What do you mean you can't teleport? Okay, I think I have the range for that. Yeah, the entire challenge of this map is just getting rocks into the right position. That's all. I will start dismantling the network, because even if I have to rebuild and go back for it, I will reduce the clutter. That evil, no good clutter. Hey, Will. Yeah, you're just happy with anything. I don't know how they're doing fine in coral, but I can just only assume that they're just built like that. Why are you unhappy? No green space? My turtle? Yeah, no buildings, a bit of beach, and some grass. Are you just incapable of picking a good spot? What about over here? No. Okay, just barely enough. Thank you, old buildings. Very cool. Okay. Parrots, no buildings, tropical forest. Makes sense. The manta ray we call plankton because it's funny. Coral reef, ocean. Yep. There's coral reef over here and over here. The whale we call an enemy. They're just fine with anything. Reef shark, lake's temperature. Either mangrove or coral reef. So if I just fill up the map with coral reef, they'll be happy. In fact, shark tail was not enough. Okay. What's a good name for this? There we go. Yeah, if you just stack up rivers, just make them so much happier. There's a specific movie I was thinking of when I referenced that. If you know, you know. Yeah, I mean, it was a decent song. Mingo. Okay, next picture is just whatever I feel like. Where's something I like the feeling of? No, if it's not gold, I want it to be gold. Yeah, it's these rivers, man. Alright, so for this stage, got a strip of mangrove there, bunch of rainforest there, and then a strip of beach there. We've also got some mangrove over here, but it doesn't really fit the pattern. Couldn't squeeze something in there. And yeah, like the intro thing you mentioned, rivers just aren't important to this map. That's what the monorail is about. And also, we never filled in all of the tiles. We never did. Anyways.